Just give us 2 minutes, gentlemen. We're waiting for so
Okay.
Moist up. Moist. Our apologies, ladies and gentlemen. We're just waiting for a few leaders who are supposed to be joining us.
Blessed, yes, so far now.
I think we can start to catch up with us later. Our sincerest apologies, members of the 4th State, for our late kickoff for this press conference. Welcome to Morgan Richard Changrai House. I think you are all aware that Zimbabweans are waiting with bated breath for the big day on Friday, the 16th of August. The press are here. Zimbabweans are waiting with bated breath for the 16th of August 2019 for the big day, where Zimbabweans will sonorously express their displeasure at the multi-layered crisis afflicting Zimbabweans. I think most of you are aware that a lot of fake news has already started doing the rounds. ZANU-PF is at it again, trying to tell the people that no, there is no longer any demonstration. We want to state here clearly and unequivocally that the demonstration is proceeding. It's all systems go. We have complied with the law and we are proceeding with our demonstration on Friday. But anyway, to take us through the party's position, we've just had our usual and routine National Standing Committee meeting. To take us through this press conference, I think we've got the party spokesperson, Honorable Fortune Daniel Molokele. and to the left is the chair of the Women's Assembly, Honorable Aurina Mpario. Honorable Molokela will take us through the party statement, after which I will then open the floor for questions. Mr. Spokesperson.
Thank you, Luke. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Judging by the turnout, this is a very pressing issue, and we're very excited for all of you managed to make it. I got some messages from someone complaining that they're on their way, they don't want us to start, but I think we'll need to start because we were originally supposed to start at 2. Some of the leaders who are supposed to be part of this meeting or of this conference, we hope they will join us. I'll start by reading the statement that we've just prepared. As Luke has confirmed, we're meeting for the leadership, the National Standing Committee today to look at the state of preparedness in terms of Friday. And the good news that we have for the people of Zimbabwe is that we are definitely going ahead. On Friday, Harare is going to come out in their numbers. And we are definitely going ahead. Ignore this whole propaganda. We are definitely going ahead. That's the message that is coming out. All systems go. And it's very important for everyone out there to know that we are not even thinking twice. We are very clear, emphatically clear that on Friday we are going ahead. We are going ahead. And not just on Friday. It's just the launch date. It's a series. It's a permanent process until we resolve issues. So as some of you have heard, we are definitely going ahead on Friday in Harare, on Monday in Bulawayo, on Tuesday in Gweru, on Wednesday in Masvingo, and on Thursday in Mutare, and we'll continue to roll out town by town, city by city. So this is a nationwide strategy to allow all Zimbabweans across this country to freely express themselves. So it's not just Harare, just to be clear to everyone else, it's across Zimbabwe, and more towns and cities will be joining in due course. But we're starting with these 5. We're starting with Harare, Bulawayo, Gweru, Masvingo, and Mutare. Let me just read the statement and then afterwards we'll continue. Okay, some of the details. Okay, sorry, let me wait for the details.
Joining us here is the national organizer, Honorable Amos Ba, and the national youth chairperson, Comrade Obeiti Rest. When you see the organizer, you must know that the party is now very organized. We are ready to go.
Okay. It's all systems go for the People's March on Friday. Zimbabwe is at a crossroads. On the 31st of July 2019, Zimbabweans, on the 31st of July 2018, Zimbabweans overwhelmingly voted for President Nelson Chamisa. That election was stolen in broad daylight, and since then, the crisis of legitimacy has manifested itself through multi-layered challenges that have manifested themselves through such issues as power shortages, the load shedding that we're seeing, water and fuel shortages, indecent wages, high prices, and general erosion of people's dignity, among other challenges. To express their displeasure at the serious challenges that we are facing as a country, Zimbabweans will begin a series of peaceful marches and demonstrations that will kick off in Harare on Friday, 16 August 2019. The preparations for the Free Zimbabwe March, which is what we're calling Friday's March, are now at a very advanced stage. It's now all systems go. All the necessary logistical preparations have been done, and we are looking forward to a successful and also very peaceful march by all Zimbabweans on Friday. The MDC is a peaceful party, and we're a law-abiding party, and to that end, we have made sure that we have complied with the requirements both of the Constitution of Zimbabwe, especially under Section 59, which gives us the right to demonstrate, to petition peacefully. We've also made sure that we've complied with the law and order maintenance provisions, especially under the Public Order and Security Act. Last week, we notified the police according to the law, and we need to very clearly state that the police do not have the authority to stop the march. Their responsibility, according to the law of the country, is to ensure that the march is peaceful, is orderly, and so on. So that is their constitutional duty, and that is their legal duty. So there are other fake rumors that are going ahead that the police need to give clearance and whatever. We are going ahead because the High Court ruled a few months ago that the police do not have any legal authority to stop a march that is organized under Section 59 of the Constitution of this country. So the other important thing about Friday and indeed next week is that there will be no party regalia. So we want to be clear that no one is going to wear MDC regalia because this is not an MDC march. This is a people's march. The MDC is just a facility, facilitating the will of the people of Zimbabwe. So if you are a Zimbabwean, you want to express yourself, feel free to wear whatever you want to wear. We heard that ZANU-PF is already busy printing out MDC regalia, so let them go ahead and maybe donate it to the party for future use. But definitely on Friday, we're not going to wear MDC regalia. If anyone is seen wearing MDC regalia, suspect that that person has been planted by ZANU-PF and automatically is a culprit. Every Zimbabwean will be marching to end this suffering that we have been experiencing. I think every Zimbabwean has been experiencing it in all sorts of formats. We will continue to march. We will not stop until a legitimate people's government is put in place, because in Zimbabwe today we have a crisis of legitimacy. And then once and for all, we will make sure that we will not rest until there is finality and resolution on this issue of legitimacy. And we will do everything in our power to ensure that the demonstration is done peacefully. We have put in place mechanisms to ensure that it's a peaceful demonstration. We are aware of ZANU-PF trying to characterize this demonstration, which is not their demonstration, as violent. So we'll be having marshals that we have trained, and we'll be having cameras in place, and we're encouraging marchers to use their own cell phone to record the march. Anyone seen to be violent is not representing the people's will. It's not representing the march. If you see anyone who is violent, and this is a message to the police, that if you see anyone becoming violent or trying to disrupt the march, arrest that person. They are not representing the people of Zimbabwe. Neither are they members of the MDC. Do your duty as the law enforcement agent. Arrest each and every one of them. So our members and the people of Zimbabwe are peaceful people. So any form of violence that will be seen on Friday will not be emanating from the people of Zimbabwe, neither will it be emanating from the members of the MDC. So we will continue with the march. It will be a peaceful march. The police have been notified of the route. Let's be very clear that we will be encouraging every Zimbabwean to express themselves in terms of this march. And when we march, we will be marching for all the issues that are affecting Zimbabweans today, that are a manifestation of this crisis of legitimacy, where we have a president who was not elected by the people of Zimbabwe, but was elected by the ZEC and the Constitutional Court. We will be marching for all those social issues that are affecting us, the unemployment that we are facing. We will be marching for jobs, affordable health care, electricity, water, education, access to good accommodation, all the issues that are affecting us, the end of the fuel shortages, the things that we are facing, decent salaries for civil servants, not just for a certain part of the civil service, but everyone else. Also, those who are not working in government, in private sector and other sectors, we also will be marching for them to have human and dignified salaries, because we all agree that every salary that we have in Zimbabwe is far below the reality on the ground. We shall be marching as civil servants, as youths, as women. We shall be marching as free citizens, workers, and everyone else. We shall also march for the restoration of the people's dignity and for the return of functional industries, for democracy, for accountability, for respect of human rights. We will be marching against the culture of corruption, impunity, abductions, the erosion of people's dignity, looting and embezzlement that are afflicting the country at the moment. And we will be saying no to killing and torture of innocent Zimbabweans, the current clampdown on civil society activists and party activists, which is manifesting through abductions and fake arrests and so on, and fake detentions, we are strongly going to be marching against that. At the end of the day, we want to end this crisis of legitimacy and also make sure that there is a popular people's government in place. So we are very clear that we'll be rolling out these peaceful and constitutional protests, marches across all towns. As I've already said, after Harare, it's all systems go. Bulawayo on Monday, Gweru on Tuesday, Maswing on Wednesday, and Mutare on Thursday. We do not have any end in sight for these marches. We are just rolling them out continuously. So the other details will be shared as time goes on. But we will make sure that our action is peaceful and is also within the constitutional and legal means. So we are encouraging everyone, especially those who are in Harare, on Friday morning to wake up ready to march into town. Africa Unity Square, 9 o'clock a.m. That's where we're meeting, and then we'll march around. So every Zimbabwean is welcome. This is not a political demonstration. This is a people's march. So a march for a new Zimbabwe, a free Zimbabwe, a return to a legitimate and popularly elected government. So as the MDC, we're just facilitating the will of the people. Someone said the people asked for a signal. The signal is now here. So Zimbabwe, you have an appointment with destiny. Let's end this suffering. Let's meet together on Friday and say enough is enough. So I'll stop here for now, and I'll through look, we'll get a few questions, and the team that has joined me will be able to also to give in their own interventions. So I'll hand it back to Luke now.
Thank you, Mr. Spokesperson, for clearly articulating the party position. So we are proceeding on Friday. We have complied with all the constitutional and legal requirements. We are a peaceful and law-abiding party. It's on. It's all systems go. I'm now opening the floor for questions. Message.
Yes, you speak about restoring legitimacy in the government through that demonstration. So what I just want to understand from you, that you believe that you will remove the government from office by a demonstration that is going to happen from 9 to 4 and sporadically in other towns. And secondly, are you not disowning your own demonstration by discounting your own party candidate?
Okay, blessed. Can I get the next question? I want to take 3 questions. Farah?
Yeah, you're talking about a successful match. What does successful look like at the end of the road? When you say you're successful, what would they take?
Then Samtaka.
Yes.
On the issue of abductions, can you just elaborate more on what's really happening? We've just said that there are quite a number of people, abductions last night, intimidation and so forth. Can you tell us more on that? It's also linked to the issue of the mobilizing team of the 16 August demonstration.
Thank you. For now, I will ask the panel to respond to the question, then I'll go to the next set of questions. Panel, Spokes, can you? Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. I will respond to the question to do with abductions. I think it is a nonsense that we are dealing with a dictatorship. In since time memorial, they've employed the same tactics of intimidating through abductions and arbitrary arrest. So from the moment we announced that as a party, we are going to be embarking on a series of actions, they've just become a panic regime, a panic government. So some of their tactics that they are employing is to abduct people from the comfort of their homes. But I would like to assure the Zimbabwean citizens today and in future again that we are never deterred by what they do. We know their tactics for a long time ago. That is not enough to deter the fighting spirit that has engulfed the people of Zimbabwe. The people of Zimbabwe have suffered for long, and it is their suffering that is going to motivate them to do more than the intimidation tactics that ZANU-PF is employing to the people of Zimbabwe. What we are doing is not anything illegal. What we are doing is a generational cause, a genuine cause to say enough is enough. Like what has been alluded earlier on, the suffering that we are having today is a product of the failed regime, a failed government led by one Emerson Mnangagwa and this cabal in ZANU-PF. So going forward, what we're simply going to do, starting from Friday, is going to be a way of sending a clear message that enough is enough. We cannot continue to fold our hands when our mothers are suffering. We cannot continue to fold our hands when we don't have adequate food in our place. We cannot continue to fold our hands when we don't have fuel in our service stations. We can mention a number of things. We cannot fold our hands when there are no jobs in Zimbabwe. So all these things, it is a collection of issues that are confronting the ordinary citizen of Zimbabwe. This is why we have said, let's embark on a series of actions as guided by the constitutional provisions. Section 59. Every Zimbabwean, including you guys who are here, has a right to demonstrate and petition. And you are simply doing exactly that. Taking what is written in the Constitution, putting into practice in a very peaceful way. I would like to urge the people of Zimbabwe that they must not be intimidated by any other person. No one is God. And no one is above the supreme law of Zimbabwe, which is the Constitution. If I wanted the right to demonstrate, we'll do exactly the same. So no matter how much they intimidate, how much they beat people, how much they arrest people, I actually have free advice for the government of Zimbabwe. If they want to arrest, let them arrest hunger, not people advocating for food on their tables. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Obey. I will allow the spokesperson to respond to the questions.
Okay. I think the issue of the party regalia, we are not disowning anyone. We are actually making it easier for everyone. Because at the end of the day, we don't want people to say this is about being a member or a supporter of the MDC, which is not what this is all about. This is about the people of Zimbabwe. We do not want to have a uniform that will exclude people. We want everyone to feel free to express themselves. We are a facility. We are building a platform for people to express themselves in line with Section 59 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe. It clearly reads that every Zimbabwean, every citizen of Zimbabwe has a right to what? To demonstrate and to present petition on any issue peacefully. So, according to Section 59, we are opening it up. We are saying it's not an MDC issue. It's a people of Zimbabwe issue. So we're not disowning anyone in any way. We are actually making it easier for every Zimbabwean to participate and not feel excluded by not having any MDC regalia. And then, in the way we define a successful demonstration, we have had our meeting today. As a leadership, we agreed, we put our own terms and conditions of how we define success. It is an administrative matter that cannot be broadcast in public, but what we know is that the organizing department and other organs of the party are already aware of the targets that the party has set for itself to define what success is. It's not a public issue because as a party, we are not going to define to the people of Zimbabwe how success is, but we have our own expectations as a party, which is an internal matter. But we are urging all Zimbabweans, starting with Harare on Friday, to come out in their numbers. At the end of the day, it's not just about the MDC, it's about everyone else. Everyone who is suffering, come out. We're giving you a platform to express yourself. 500,000 people, let it be. 500,000, let it be. 1 million, let it be. But what you are saying is, come out, Zimbabweans. Come out. Come and express yourself freely according to the law and constitution of this country. In terms of abductions, we are aware that abductions happened last night. The national chairperson for the young people, the Youth Assembly, in Mfakose, was abducted last night, and the people who beat him up and tortured him were accusing him of organizing the march on Friday. So it's all indications that is linked to desperate panic attempts to disrupt the preparations. And we are urging all Zimbabweans not to be afraid, because fear is the enemy of progress. If Zimbabwe is going to move forward, it is time for us to stand up and freely express ourselves in line with the constitution of this country. The so-called new dispensation is saying they are different from Mugabe. So on Friday, it's a test for them to show the world how different they are from Mugabe. But indications are that it's same old, and it's up to them to prove otherwise. But the abductions have started, and we are urging everyone to be very careful because there is clearly people that have been sent to abduct people and to intimidate people. But we are urging Zimbabweans not to be afraid. because at the end of the day, fear is the enemy of progress. We need change. We need change that delivers. We need it now, because the suffering is just too much. And then, as I clearly explained with regards to Friday, I think someone mentioned that you think 9 to 4 p.m. is enough. We are saying Friday is a launch date. We are rolling out. It's a process. In our honest view, we do not have an expiry date. We will consider the issue at the end of the process, which is what? A step up from where we are. What we are simply saying is that from Friday we are starting. When are we ending? The leadership will consider the situation at the right time. But for now, we are saying whatever is happening in Zimbabwe right now, it is not acceptable. It's time for us to what? To exercise our constitutional right and express ourselves as Zimbabweans. We've just been celebrating Heroes Day, and the heroes who passed away, who died for this country, the fallen heroes, they wanted Zimbabweans 40 years after independence to freely express their views. And on Friday, we'll be exercising our constitutional right based on the benefits from the liberation struggle. So we're very clear that it's not just a 9 to 4 p.m. process. It's a process where we call it, we are like ongoing. We don't have any expiry date. If you go everywhere in the world today, citizens are now doing exactly that. They are going in the streets and they're expressing themselves. Just go to Malawi, just go to Sudan and so on. You'll see what's happening. So Zimbabweans also have the right. Instead of suffering in silence, we are asking the Zimbabweans to use the Constitution of Zimbabwe, Section 59 allows them. I think those who are shown know that we in Isindebele we say umntwana ongakhaliyo uyafela embelekweni. So what it means is Zimbabweans should crowd using the constitution of this country. So stop suffering in silence. Speak up. And this is the opportunity that is coming. It's a platform that you should take advantage of. Did I forget?
Maybe just say one issue. I just want to comment on the issue of abductions. I just want to say that it's only meant to victimize, intimidate the people of Zimbabwe. But my point here is very clear, that the people of Zimbabwe shall speak, the people of Zimbabwe are going to resist that.
Thank you, organizer. The next set of questions? Yes?
Listening to the statement and the blueprint which you released a month or so ago, Reload. And Reload spoke about a national transition mechanism. And in today's statement, you are talking about having isolation of a legitimate leader. How do you reconcile those two positions?
Thank you.
Mine is just a follow-up to what Paida has just asked. You say that you are going to be expressing your disquiet over the outcome of the July elections, and you want the restoration of a legitimate government. So should that fail to happen, should President Mnangagwa fail to resign, what are you going to do next?
Yes.
You spoke of how the march would be encompassing, it's open to the people and your party is a facilitator. Is it not a contradiction that you cannot share the successes to them when you're inviting them to come to your march that you're organizing?
Sorry, come again.
I'm saying your party, you said your party is a facilitator and this is the people's march. Is it then not a contradiction when you cannot tell the people the key performance indicators or the key successes after you get invited?
Thank you. Hold on, let's say. I'll come to you. I will allow the panel to respond.
Just a reinforcement. I just want to understand when you say that the success and internal process. How does an internal process then encompass everyone? Because your response to what success looks like, you said it's an internal process. I mean, is that not an insult to the people they are asking to come and join?
Okay. I'll allow the spokesperson to respond to the questions.
The people of Zimbabwe have the right to decide what success means. And as far as I'm concerned, the MDC cannot prescribe to the people of Zimbabwe what success is. What we know is that from an administrative point of view, we have our own understanding what it means. So we have no responsibility or we have no right whatsoever to actually tell the people of Zimbabwe, if you do this like this, then you are successful. The people of Zimbabwe will know that they've been successful. So I'm surprised that people want us to prescribe to the people of Zimbabwe. The people of Zimbabwe have asked for a signal. We have given it to them. So it's up to them to decide. So we are facilitating. Let them express themselves. Let's not go to them and tell them what we mean by success. What we mean by success is an end to this suffering that they're experiencing. Let this suffering end, then the people of Zimbabwe will feel happy and successful. So let's not lose focus of the real issue. Let's not go to the nitty-gritties. Let's go to the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that we need something to happen. What is happening right now is stripping Zimbabweans of their dignity, including you journalists here. Life is difficult for all of us. So enough is enough. So we need something to happen. And that is not the responsibility of the MDC. That is the responsibility of each and every one of us as citizens of this country. So let us not abrogate that responsibility to the MDC. The MDC as a political party, we are playing the role of a facilitator. And we are not the only one who can do that. Every other citizen, every other organization can do that. So please, let's not reduce this into a discussion about MDC prescribing things, because definitely the people of Zimbabwe will decide what success is. I wanted to talk about ED. We are very clear as the MDC that this is not about ED. This is not a personal vendetta against him. This is about a system. This is about a regime. This is about a political dispensation that is illegitimate. Whether ED comes or goes is not the key factor here. The key factor is that we need a new political order in this country. Because for our economy to move forward, we need to resolve the ongoing political disputes. After every election, other countries, they focus on their economy. In Zimbabwe, it's the opposite. We are always in an election mode, disputed election results. And that is because the whole mechanism around the elections, the whole environment is not free and fair. It doesn't allow for a clear outcome. South Africa had elections recently. If you go today in South Africa, are they talking about any disputes? They have moved on. So Zimbabwe needs to be in that similar position, where we do not have a cycle of disputed election results. And the current situation is that the MDC, we already know that President Chamisa was the clear winner of the elections, and the results were manipulated. That's why ZEC did not allow the MDC to go into that computing room. That's why they refused their officials. Were bad, and you know how it went. Some of us who tried to explain that to the world, they were arrested. So they didn't even want to tabulate the results constituency by constituency. It was done at provincial level. Those results are fake as far as the MDC is concerned. ZEC reserves the right to announce its result. The Constitutional Court reserves the right to announce what is judgment. But as MDC, we also have our own position. And our position is clear that President Chamisa won the elections. We know even the number of votes that he got. Over 2.6 million. So those 2.6 million voters of Zimbabwe, they are still crying up to today, saying, give us a chance to express ourselves so that we can have a popularly elected leader. So that is where we are today. We are not interested in whether it is coming or going. What we are interested in is that the people of Zimbabwe should be allowed to express their will for a legitimate people's government. And then with regards to reload, I think those who have managed to reload, it's got 5 clear steps. And where we are today, we are on step number 1. Where we are talking about political and diplomatic pressure. So that's where we are. If you follow the reload, it's got 5 steps, so we're on step number 1. So there is no contradiction. We are following the Congress resolution. When Gweru, a few months ago, and the people, the highest decision-making board of the MDC, the Congress, mandated the leadership to facilitate this process. And reload is just a documentation of the resolution of the what? The Congress. And it clearly explains the step-by-steps. So where we are, we're on step number 1. But there will be 5 steps according to the Congress resolution. So where we are, we're on step number 1, which is focusing on political and diplomatic pressure. The other steps, I think you're aware of them. All-inclusive dialogue, national dialogue, all stakeholders, not just for politicians. Then the third one, national discussion around a transitional mechanism. And as the MDC are very clear that we are not saying, let's go back to the global political agreement. We are not prescribing that with all its weaknesses, including the fact that it excluded other citizens. It was reduced to 3 political parties. So we want something broader. So we're not calling for a return to the GNU. We're very clear. And then also, the fourth step is around comprehensive reforms, so that we ensure that there is a distinction between the political process and the state and government. Right now, everything is together, it's bungled up, and it's affecting even the capacity of the country to hold free and fair election. And then the fifth point is holding of a free and fair election. That will ensure that the winner of that election, even if it's ED, everyone will clap hands and congratulate them. And as a country, we get out of this cycle of disputed election results and controversies around legitimacy. As the MDC, a free and fair election result will allow us to congratulate the winner. If it's Advocate Chamisa, so be it. If it's anyone else, so be it. This is not about the MDC trying to get into power. This is about the people of Zimbabwe having a popularly elected people's government. That's what it's all about.
Thank you, spokesperson. Unless someone is itching for very last set of questions. Let's head and then Frank. Then we read it.
I just want, folks, for you to say it's for the people of Zimbabwe to decide. I mean, you are a facilitator. What are you facilitating? That is the biggest issue. The people want to know the concrete direction that you are facilitating them to. You cannot say it's for the people of Zimbabwe to decide. You've had a whole meeting of a standing committee, honestly, to tell the people that it's their issue to decide. If the people want to decide, they'll come to the street without you calling them. So you have called them. Tell them what is it that you want them to do.
Just to add on to what he's asking, because now it seems more of elections. We are hearing elections, disputed elections. But this much, is it about elections? Is it about the current economic situation? Is it about the MDC? Because it seems or it sounds very clearly that you want to use the people's cause to achieve your own personal cause. Okay. Can you please just
I want to move to but just for your own information, I think what is clear is that what we are witnessing are just symptoms of a deeper underlying structure of political problems. As Mtukuzi would say, what we are seeing are manifestations. The economic crisis is a manifestation of a deeper political crisis of illegitimacy, the crisis of legitimacy. That's where the whole thing lies. But anyway, Frank.
Right, Mr. Molokela, you are saying that you are going to use provisions of the Constitution to fill the streets of Harare and other citizen towns across the country. Whereas Victor Matemadanda, who is the Deputy Minister of Defense and War Veterans, is saying that this will not happen. And Louis Matutu of the ZANU-PF Youth League is saying that they will be out to protect the power that the leadership of his party has. Can't you see that better lines have been drawn here? And what are your first, your worst fears following these assertions?
Last question, Conrad.
I've been listening to all this, but I still can't answer. What do you want to achieve?
Okay, thank you so much. I don't know how I can go back to my colleague around the MDC deciding what success is and so on. I think this debate is really unnecessary, to say the least.
Thank you.
It's really unnecessary. I don't know which people he's been talking to, but we as the MDC we have consulted, and the message you are getting is that please give us a signal, and we've given it. The people have not prescribed to us this thing that is insisting on. So at the end of the day, outside this meeting, we can engage further. But for now, I think we've belabored that. So if you want further details, we can do it outside this press conference.
No. I think we need to
No,
space for the press. We cannot intimidate.
No, it's a press conference.
Yeah, we cannot intimidate. We cannot be intimidated.
Let him respond.
Thank you. But we keep getting interjections. You know, we are recording, and these interjections will affect what we put out.
Okay.
It's a press conference for crying out loud.
Okay, thanks. That's a valid concern.
Yeah, no, it's the interjections that we worry about.
Yeah, but he's also interjecting.
No interjections, please. This is a press conference. Let's allow members of the press to ask questions that they have. Yes,
so, the concern about whether it's being reduced into an issue about elections, I think we just need to be clear to everyone that the way we understand the crisis in Zimbabwe is born out of a contention around the election process, the outcome of the election. So it is in a sense a political crisis of legitimacy. What you then see out of, like, for the last 2 years, the government struggling with the economy, as everyone of you can see that there's been a worsening of the situation. It's got everything to do with the fact that an illegitimate government does not have the capacity to freely resolve the issues that are affecting the people of Zimbabwe. So at the end of the day, we need to work together as Zimbabweans and support whoever is in government to solve the problems. So what you are seeing, all these shortages, all this load shedding, unemployment, whatever, all these, they are just mere symptoms of a bigger problem, which is a problem of what? Political legitimacy. So that is the position of the MDC. Every Zimbabwean has a very big opinion about what is the problem. They have the right to have an opinion, but the opinion that is based on the consultation with the leadership and the membership of the party and the Congress is that the biggest problem that Zimbabwe is facing today is a crisis of political legitimacy. So out of that analysis of the MDC, we then interpret the shortages that you are seeing, the problems that you are seeing as mere symptoms. So we will be addressing those issues, but they are not an end in itself. Can you see the analysis? So we're saying that unless and until we resolve the political dispute, the issue of legitimacy, then the other issues will not be solved. We do not have any faith in the capacity of the present political order to resolve the social economic problems the country is having. We are just going in circles. We'll never resolve the issues. It's not going to happen. Yes. So we need a people's government. We need a people's government that is popularly elected by the people and for the people. A government that is not going to come out of a disputed election result, but a government that is going to come out of an election result that is based on a free and fair electoral process. So that is the position. That's why we've got all those 5 steps under reload, where we clearly explain that at the end of the day, this is how we envisage, and this is the position of the MDC. You can feel free to have your own position, but this is how we view the roadmap towards legitimacy, the roadmap towards economic, social prosperity of this country. So as a citizen of Zimbabwe, we have a right to have an opinion. And that's how we view it, that unless and until we address the issue of political legitimacy, the other issues are just preliminary. They are not addressing the real issue. The real issue is political legitimacy. So that's where we are as the MDC. So there is the issue about ZANU-PF functionaries. Let us be very fair. If you are ZANU-PF, and you're hearing that the MDC is organizing this, you have to come up with a counter strategy. So at the end of the day, this is what may be the counter strategy of ZANU-PF. But their personal opinions are not as important as the constitution of this country. We look at the constitution of this country, the march on Friday is going to happen because it's allowed for by Section 59 of the constitution of this country. The personal opinion of ZANU-PF functionaries are neither here nor there. They are not going to stop us from organizing it. So we're very clear on that one, that the march is going to happen. It is definitely happening. We are not going to be guided by ZANU-PF or its functionaries. We are going to be guided by the people of Zimbabwe. We have requested for this. So it's going to happen. There is fake news, as you saw today, which we believe is coming from ZANU-PF, that the demo was called off. It's desperation. We accept it. It's natural to panic when you're the one who has got something to lose. But the bottom line is that the MDC is definitely going to facilitate the process. And we're not going backward, we're going forward. And we're going to do it peacefully, and we're going to follow the law of this country. I don't understand why people are going to the moon. When we adopted the Constitution in 2013, Section 59 was clearly put there to say that any Zimbabwean has the right to freely demonstrate. And yeah, so at the end of the day, it's in the Constitution. So why are we making it a big story? ZANU-PF can demonstrate as many times as they want. Let them demonstrate. It's their constitutional right. Why are they worried about us exercising our constitutional right? That is where the problem is. We're just following the law. We're following the Constitution. There's nothing spectacular about it, as far as we're concerned. I don't know that something.
Thank you, Mr. Spokesperson. I think I just want to assure the journalists that for one-on-one questions, we continue to be available. But before I wind up this press conference, I want to allow the national organizer to just give us the route that we have finished the police with when in our notification, the route for the demonstration, the peaceful march. Honorable Shibai.
Thank you very much, Look, just to give you information regarding how we're going to move on Friday, the 16th of August. We're going to assemble at the Africa Square at 9 o'clock in the morning. Then we move into Jason Moyo. Then from there we go to Rotonro. Then we get into Sambora Mashab. Then we also move to the 4th Street. Then from there we go to Jason Moyo. Then we reassemble at the Africa Square, where we are going to receive a speech from our leader. I thought this information is important to share with you as members of the media.
Thank you, Mr. Shibaya. Thank you, panel. The press, like I said, we continue to be open for questions, clarifications after this press conference. Safe to say that I want to thank you very much for turning up at our press conference at very short notice. And I hope that most of you will join us at our demonstration. Thank you very much.
Okay, those who want to do Ndebele and Shona, let's do it. Those who want to do Ndebele and Shona. Okay, Shibaya will speak in Shona, I will speak in Ndebele to make it easier.